the Steelers' running game? What do you make of the whole Jaylen Warren, Najee Harris breakdown? From this perspective, Chris, let's talk about Najee for a minute and what kind of runner he is when he's going well. Does he have the vision of a great running back? Like what are his strengths and weaknesses?
His strength is that he can power through people, right? That he runs angry, and that he does a good job of breaking tackles. He does a good job of that to me is his power is really what his strength is. One of his weaknesses is his ability to get quick to speed. So put his foot in the ground and accelerate. Like you've been in a Tesla or something like that, where just boom, you're at full speed before you can blink. That's not his strength. And so the way that this offensive line blocks at times, where they get knocked in the backfield, and he's got to restart, right? So he can't hit the ball downhill, and he has to restart and then accelerate again. He struggles in that situation. That's why Jaylen Warren, I've said in this radio show a couple times that I think that the way they block at times and the way that they give up penetration lends itself to Jaylen Warren more than it does Najee Harris, because Najee Harris doesn't have the ability with the genes that he has, the makeup that he has, to stop and accelerate again and get going, and that's what Jaylen Warren does. But when you watch Najee, when they give him the edge, when they give him a soft edge, when they give him a hole, and he's able to get to that second level, and he runs nasty. I mean, he runs over people, he hurts people, and that's the kind of running back you want. But the offensive line right now, for one reason or another, they'll block at times, and other times they're getting knocked back. There's penetration, they're missing blocks. It's just very, very inconsistent, really, which is reminiscent of the whole team.
But there's nothing wrong with having two backs, is there? They're kind of a nice one-two
there isn't.
punch to me.
But if you look at right here over the season, and everybody can say, well, there's so many guys in the box, this and that. When Najee runs, they have more of a close core where they have their tight ends close to the line, close to the core of the offense, and they have their running backs tight and the receivers, whatever. You can say blah, blah, blah. Here's the facts. Najee Harris has touched the ball 68 times in the first 5 games, and he has 284 yards for 4.2 yards per touch. Jaylen Warren has touched the ball 55 times, so 13 times less than Najee. And he has 290 yards, so he has 4 more yards than Najee. Now, he's caught the ball more out of the backfield, so we'll give him that, for 5.3 average. So he has a whole yard more average per touch. He has 14 first downs with 13 less touches, and Najee has 13 first downs, so 1 less first down. So, it looks to me like Jalen's more productive, but if you look at it, it can be a little deceptive because he catches the ball in the backfield and has an opportunity to make bigger plays and get more yardage.
So how would you, if you were running the Steeler offense, break down the touches? Do you like it? It's just about even. Just about.
The last 3 games, it really about even.
Just about even. What I would do is I would try to let them work off each other, right? There's something about a change of pace when you have Najee going out there and pounding, and then you bring him in. That's why I think he benefits a little bit from that, because you're used to this pound and ground and pound kind of guy in Najee Harris, and then you bring Jalen in it, right? It's kind of like Casey and I a little bit. Casey was big and strong and physical, and then I get in there and I was a little more quicker, right? And so it was a change of pace for that center, and it was an advantage for me. I'll admit that. And I think at times a backup running back gets that advantage as well.
I still want to see Najee have some games where he has 25 carries and is allowed to get into a rhythm. Maybe I'm
done that last
maybe
year,
I'm
we
the
saw
last
that.
one in town, but every running back I've ever interviewed my whole life said, I got to get fed. I got to get into a rhythm.
And you watch this, Starkey, the last couple of games, they've started out trying to get that running game going, right? And the offensive line has struggled in the first half. Go back and watch the film. The last 2 games, the first half, they've struggled to run the ball for one reason or another to get movement. Then they come out in the third quarter, whether they get yelled at or whether I don't know what it is, but then they're moving and stealing some of the grass of the defenders a little bit. And that's when you see Najee get going in the second half of running the football.
Could it be because their running game is predictable? It just looks that way. That guy has more hats on him than any running back I've ever seen. He doesn't get tackled by one guy. He gets tackled by like 7. It just looks like other teams are never, ever fooled by what the Steelers are doing on the ground game.
We had this conversation last week about predictability.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, everybody
Could that have something to do with it?
Listen, I mean, there could be some things, and maybe they need to run their key breakers more often, but everybody
What's
is
a key
predictable.
breaker?
Key breaker is when you do your study, and it says, okay, they come out in this formation, and they're going to run X play 14 times, right? But there's 2 times where they run away from that. right, away from that tendency. And so then you have to play it honest. But they're going to come out and run a stretch play when they're in trips, right? Okay, they run the stretch play because 14 out of 16 times in your 3-game breakdown, they're supposed to go to the trips. Oh, they're predictable. No, you did your homework, right? And that's how I look at this thing. And the reality is, I keep saying this, look at the film. Guys are getting beat. Win your matchup, win your block. Go out there and take a little bit of pride. And when you have a guy over you, don't let him knock you in the backfield, right? When you have a guy, and it's going to happen from time to time because they get paid too, but don't let it happen consistently 3, 4, 5 times over a game. I mean, you've got at least to have you be on your guy. And so when Najee comes, this guy's going to stand on the hole free without a blocker on him. Even if you're getting beat, continue to drive, continue to lean on him so it makes it difficult for him to get a tackle.